Luke, my brother, he climbed Kosciuszko only like about 2 weeks ago.
Is that the biggest mountain in Australia?
Yeah. In Australia, well, of course it is.
Yeah.
And I think everybody knows Mt Kosciuszko is the biggest mountain in Australia. But he told me a story about Mt Kosciuszko that I'd never heard before that blew my mind. Wow. Mt Kosciuszko, back when they named Mt Kosciuszko, and it was named after some bloke from Poland. It was named by the Polish... There's some Polish bloke, was an explorer. He came across Mt Kosciuszko back in the 1800s.
Not that hard, it's the tallest.
You look around.
How did no one notice it?
Yeah, but he named it.
Yeah, right.
And he named it after some war general from his hometown who was Kosciuszko.
All right.
And so that's how Mt Kosciuszko got named.
What if someone else named it beforehand, they just didn't really know and took note?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm sure some Indigenous people named it.
Yeah.
It's probably
no doubt.
Yeah.
name.
Anyway, it became Mt Kosciuszko,
Okay.
and Mt Kosciuszko is our highest mountain and blah, blah, blah. And then there's a mountain next to Mt Kosciuszko, as it turns out, that's called Mt Townsend, that you've never heard of.
No.
Have you?
No.
Years go by, and everyone grows up in Australia, and the same as we all did. Mt Kosciuszko is the highest mountain in Australia. Mt Kosciuszko is the highest mountain in Australia. All of a sudden, they work out that Mt Townsend is higher than Mt Kosciuszko.
It isn't.
It
What?
is.
No,
You sure?
I don't believe you.
Thank you, Susie. Okay, Mount Townsend. I can't believe that this is not a big part
That's
of
weird.
Australian history. This is true. You can check it out. Mount Townsend is higher, like by 11 metres
Wow.
or something, than, and I might have that wrong, but this story is legit. Mount Townsend is higher than Mount Kosciuszko.
Huh.
But we've all grown up knowing that Mount Kosciuszko is the highest mountain in Australia.
Yeah.
Rolls off the tongue.
Yeah.
And guess what they did?
Well, I've just read
They
it.
didn't chisel
I
the
cannot
top.
believe
Guess
they
what
did
they
this.
did?
I've just
No,
read
they
it.
didn't.
They didn't knock the top off.
They changed
They
the names.
switched.
They switched the names.
No.
So Mount
They did.
Kosciuszko, as we know it, is actually Mount Townsend,
What?
and Mount Townsend
It's true.
is Mount Kosciuszko.
I never knew. Wow.
So
I don't
the-
understand that.
Okay, so
Well, there's an 1863 picture in the National Gallery of Australia. The northeast view of the northern top of Mount Kosciuszko is actually Mount Townsend.
So when did they switch it?
Like in the 1800s.
Oh, okay. Before we were
But
born.
Mount Kosciuszko that we know as Mount Kosciuszko
Yes.
is not Mount Kosciuszko.
Mount Townsend.
The highest mountain in Australia is actually
Mount
Mount
Townsend.
Townsend, and they've started calling it Mount Kosciuszko. Now, the kicker to this that Luke told me is that there is a tradition in the mountaineers or climbers, if you're a professional mountaineer or whatever they call it, in Australia, because anyone can climb Mount Kosciuszko. It doesn't require a lot of skill, practical skill, to get up to the top of Mount Kosciuszko. It's different with Mount Townsend. Mount Townsend is a lot more, you've got to put a lot more effort in. There's a lot more technical.
Okay.
So, but the culture in Australian mountain climbers is that if you climb Mount Townsend, that when you climb Mount Townsend, you take a big rock with you. And when you get to the top of Mount Townsend, you put it on top in the hope that one day Mount Townsend will eventually be taller than Mount Kosciuszko again, and that Mount Townsend can once again be the highest mountain in Australia.
That's awesome.
Isn't that an unbelievable story?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Bugger carrying a rock up there, though.
That's going to be a better idea than
I don't
that.
want to do that.